Hi. So today I have two options to do. First, I need to go to migration because apparently the rule that you as an European can stay here in Panama for 6 months has changed to 3 months. So actually when I'm gonna be leaving the country, I'm gonna be 15 days too late. So I have to go there and take some information. When it turns out it's not working for me or it's too far, because it's like an hour walking, if it is too far, then I gonna visit a Chinese garden, which is like halfway, but still Google says it's about the same amount in time to get at the Chinese garden. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but you're gonna see where I am. I gotta tell you, here in Panama they have some seriously dangerous road to cross. Oh my god, it's yeah, crazy. Not only crossing the streets are very dangerous, but even just walking the pathway can be very dangerous. I think the thing you saw, how is it called in English? The hole you saw, I think it's like 10 meters deep, and there was water down, so if you fall in you drown, and nobody knows. So maybe there are already a few bodies in there. I hope you can hear me well, because there's a lot of noise from the cars and it's quite windy. But I think this is probably like the longest graffiti wall I've ever seen in my life, and maybe it's the biggest one in Panama. Maybe one of you know, so let me know in the comments down below, please. So I should go that way, but apparently there's like nothing for foot passengers to cross the bridge. So I'm gonna cross a bridge over the street and try to use the walking path and see where that brings me. Because by the end, where I'm gonna have to arrive, I'm gonna have to cross the street anyway. That's why I was taking this stroke, but apparently I can't cross the bridge over there. So yeah. I was just wondering why my heart is beating like 150 beats a minute, but what I didn't realize, as you can see in the previous video, or the video somewhere on top, that I'm walking uphill, so that's probably why. So as you can see, where I sometimes need to cross the roads, they're quite dangerous. The only smart thing about most crossing lines is that usually the streets are like one way, so it makes it much easier and much safer to watch before you cross the street. And you know, they're only coming from one direction, so but still, I mean, all the traffic. Belgium can be a very busy country with cars, but this is so much more. Since it is extremely hot at this moment and the whole tour or route I'm taking is uphill, I'm really already quite exhausted. So I decided to go to the China Gardens. Still, the time to go to China Gardens is about the same. It's about 50 minutes, but the migration service is going to close at 3 o'clock. So by the time I arrive over there, because I take time to make some shots, I'm probably going to be too late anyway. So I decided to do that Monday, but with an Uber, because it's way too high, way too exhausting to climb. So I'm probably wet. I'll probably have a wet moustache. So do you see the building over there? Over there? It reminds me a little bit of Miami. I've been in Miami. I don't know why this building reminds me of Miami, but also it reminds me of the Memphis design furniture. I don't know if you know that, guys. I tried to look up for some pictures and put them in the video somewhere. It probably is the way it is designed and the colors that they remind me a little bit of the Memphis style. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but this was like my first idea I had with this building. And this is also something I really like about Panama. You, depending on where you are, no matter what architecture you've seen before, just around the corner you can see something completely different, which I really like. So thumbs up for Panama. Whew, the shadows are so refreshing. Whew. There's a light breeze as well, so this is the perfect time to cool off a little bit. So as you can see, this is already again a way different area that I've been before. So yes, this is why I like, or the dog doesn't like me. Okay, so this is what I like about Panama, as I told before. I'm very close to a forest now. A bit later I'm going to tell you which forest, because over there's the Chinese garden that we want to visit. And I think this neighbor where we are here now is a bit more uptight, if you know what I mean. It's not the same as Paitilla, because in Paitilla there you have, which is called San Francisco as well, there you have the skyscrapers, which you don't have here. But as you can see to the fancy houses, I think people are probably richer than people that live like around El Cangrejo. Or maybe if you are from this neighbor, you can explain if this is really like a much more expensive area than being in the center of the city. Because it looks like the houses are much bigger. Many people have at least 2 cars, as you can see. So I want to know, so please tell me. So we are next to Parque Metropolitan, which is the huge park just like next door. And I just entered like area residencial. So I'm not sure what it means, but I hope it doesn't mean this is strictly private, because this is the part Google is advising me to go. So let's see what happens along the way. And as usual, I was going the wrong way again. So the people over there, they helped me out, because this is no way going to the Chinese garden. But there was like a mix-up, because Metropolitan Park is nearby, so they didn't know exactly what I meant. And then apparently there's also like a Chinatown, which is not this direction, it's a completely different direction. So Google is sending me actually on a way where it's not allowed to walk, but I have no other choice, because otherwise the whole trip was like for nothing. So I'm gonna try and see where I end up, and if it doesn't work out, this was a video you were watching with no point. So let's hope this doesn't happen, okay? And then of course, because of you know what, they close the park way earlier than normal. So they close at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, it's like, I know that in Panama, because of the heat, most things are happening in the mornings and then late afternoons. But still, I mean, what do people do in the afternoon? Then just stay home and, I don't know, sleep for 5 to 6 hours and then wake up again. And but okay, this is what happens. So yeah, of course I'm a little frustrated that I walked like for an hour and apparently the park is closed. Although I do understand that because of, you know what, the pandemic, they have to take measurements, but still, I mean, it's like the only thing as a tourist you can do in the late afternoons is having a cup of coffee or go get an ice cream. and then for the rest of the day, well, shop. I mean, yeah, wow. Later today, when I'm back home, I'm gonna investigate if it is open during the weekends, because when I was reading the plate over there, it wasn't quite sure when I was reading it fast, but maybe I overread something. So I will do that at home, and then otherwise I might do it on the Monday, but still I have to go to migration as well. Or first of all doing migration on Monday and then going back to the China garden. Do you hear me? And then going back to the China garden the other day, because I can't give you a video with a certain subject and the subject is not there, right? Or the next day, and I was going to migration, but I got refused because I'm not wearing apparently like a plexi mask as well. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow, and since we are still quite on time, I've decided to go to the China garden again and see if I can enter over there. So hopefully we see each other at the park. See you in a bit. So this is already like the second attempt to get to the China garden, and every time, no matter what direction I take, Google Maps sends me to places where it's actually like forbidden to walk. So that means I have to do a detour from about around the 30 minutes to get at the park, which, you know, sometimes I don't understand. They use like the most modern cameras and cars and whatever they need to make those maps, but when it comes up for foot passengers, no, priority goes to cars, of course. But still, you know, they create very dangerous situations, and I think somehow it's their responsibility to, if you offer services, that your service at least is correct for the type of people that use your service. So Google, please do better for foot passengers. If I can give you one advice when you want to go to the China gardens, I recommend you highly to use an Uber or a taxi, because the roads here are quite dangerous and are not really like focused on foot passengers. So first of all, the roads are very busy, and second, most of the times they're very hard to cross, so it's quite scary if you want to do that. When you arrive at this point, many people will probably cross the streets because the garden is on the other side of the street, but actually if you stay on this path, there will be like a Chinese bridge that you can cross and it ends up in the park. So maybe that's an advice to remember. Funny or not, the bridge was actually closed, so the bridge, you can't use it at the moment. So I'm gonna put my mask on and then we go in the Chinese garden. I don't care much that the fountain is making me wet a little bit because it's extremely hot again today. So yeah, my first impression is that the park is not so big, but it looks very cozy. So I'm gonna stay here for a while, film a little bit and put some music on top for you guys. this leads us, but I totally didn't expect it, because it looked like a very, very tiny Chinese garden, but apparently there are stairs. So the whole stairway down, across the around the corner, and then a bit more down, ends up in this peaceful, can I call it a chapel? Ooh, the heat again, the sweat and the climbing. But it's very peaceful here. Can you see me? It's very peaceful here, and they're about to close, so I have to make sure that I'm on time before they close the park. So this is maybe the last video I'm taking here in Panama, because Wednesday I'm leaving to Belgium to celebrate the holidays, and then I'm traveling to Cuba, which is going to be my next series, and it's probably going to start somewhere in February. I really hope you keep following, and for all Panamanians and the people that wrote in the comments down below, especially about Panama, many thank yous. Extra thank yous to Gregory Groggy. Gregory Groggy? I'm sorry if I misspelled your name, but Gregory for sure is correct. Many thank yous to all your messages you sent to me. I really appreciate it. And Isabel, you wrote me also several times, so many thank yous. And I hope I see you in the next video. Bye.